Hello friends, I'm Claudia Lash and this is my happy place. My happy place is my sewing studio or my sewing room, and I thought you might like to see what's in this sewing room. This is not a very big place, but it's a whole lot bigger than what I started out with. I used to sew in a closet, so this is much bigger and I love it. I love to be able to see outside and then to come in here and put on my music or the TV, and then I have my cutting table right here, which doesn't look all that neat and tidy. I have lots of fabrics. There's fabrics in here, there's fabrics in the closet, and I have this wonderful sewing machine which can do anything I want to do with it. And more stuff. I have my sewing stuff. I have a design wall which has a quilt partially laid out on there, and up on the ceiling or up the top of the wall I have different 12 by 12s that I have done in the past couple of years, quilts, and just everything I need is right in this little room. I can come in here, turn on the music, sing, shut the door, and I am in a very happy place. This is where I often sew the quilts that I make, and those quilts end up being Presto Avenue Designs patterns sometimes. So welcome to my space, and let me show you some more of my quilts. I have quilts all over our house. I like to do wall quilts. This is a small wall quilt. This is a Ferris wheel flowers, and I call it rainbow flowers. You can find out more about the small wall quilts from this video. These are my Good Books quilts. They are basically made the same. I just changed the wordings. Both my husband and I love to read, and so I made him the first quilt over there. I like good books, and I cannot lie. And then I went to our library and I said, I'm going to make you a quilt for the library, and the librarian suggested this verbiage: never judge a book by its movie. So this one has been so very popular with most people, and how true it is. Good books. For Christmas time, I like to put up this quilt. This quilt is called The Gift, and it's basically half square triangles with a little bit of applique on top, and the words, "For God so loved the world." The words are fairly easy to put on, and there is a tutorial on my website about that too. The Gift. What I really like to do is to make quilts that have a simple pieced background, and then put different designs or different appliques on top. This is called Poppin' Out. I have done it in this version, which is dark with gray background, gray and white. And then this is Poppin' Out too. That one is in blues on the background. Both quilts have similar flowers. This quilt just gives you a lot of area to do what you want to do. Put as much into it as you would like. As many flowers, as many different kinds of flowers. And then add beads and buttons to embellish it. Popping out. This pattern is called Ferris wheel flowers. The first one I did I don't have here, but this is the second one, and I just had so much fun making big, bold flowers and offsetting them a little bit and having them just sort of sparkle. They're called Ferris wheel flowers because they sort of look like a Ferris wheel. This was Ferris wheel flowers. This one is Ferris wheel fireworks, or fireworks flowers. And the last one is the rainbow effect, Ferris wheel flowers. We love birds, as you can see. This is my quilt called Suburbia. This is Suburbia 1, that's Suburbia 2. I made this one first and just enjoyed making it so much, but thought, why do I want to put all that many leaves on? So in Suburbia 2, there's a fewer leaves, but I think there's an extra bird in Suburbia 2. Suburbia, great fun, not hard. One of my favorite techniques is what I call embellished applique. Rush hour is an example of embellished applique. Want to find out more? Watch this little video. This is Rush Hour. Rush Hour is a quilt which is like several that I have done. I call the technique embellished applique. It involves using basically a positive negative type of applique. So every square of fabric is used in, all of the parts of the fabric are used in other blocks. And then blue is the background here. Then you can go around each fish with your fancy stitches on your sewing machine. I thought it was so fun to try to find different stitches and how exciting they looked. The little bubbles were made with some iridescent tulle that I found. And the background is simple. It's sort of a strip-pieced blues, as many blues as I could find that looked like water. So this is Rush Hour. This is Butterfly Collection. Butterfly Collection is a collection of different wall quilts made with the butterflies as the focus. These are made in the same way as the other embellished applique quilts that I have made. I usually make 16 blocks. So in the Butterfly Collection, the 16 blocks are used to make 3 different wall quilts. The pattern gives the directions on how to make each of these wall quilts. There's a long one. There's more of a square, which could be used as a table topper. And then there are directions to make placemats. So you can make 4 placemats, all in the Butterfly Collection. Shelley and I have the most beautiful grandkids, and so I like to show them on a family quilt. You can find out more about the family quilts from the coming video. This is what I call the family quilt. I decided to make a quilt a few years ago that would hang pictures of my family and free up space on a mantle, but give me a place to put lots of grandchildren pictures. So I put them together with beads and I hung them on an upper panel. And there are, instead of having pictures printed on fabric, these photos are actual photos that are inside sleeves or frames made of fabric. So when you get a new picture and you need to switch out, then you can just take this one out and put the new one in. Here, I'll put the baby picture back in. They just fit right under there. There's no plastic over them. And there is a spot for several pictures. You could even add one more on each of the outside and inner things and have enough for maybe 12, 15 pictures, I guess. After I did the family quilt and had it hanging for a year or two, there were several times when we were with our family and we needed a place that would hold larger pictures. The Family 2 quilt is similar to the family quilt, but it will hold photographs that are 8 by 10 and 5 by 7. Once again, it's made in the same way. The pictures just fit behind frames. You can change them out. Sometimes I've changed them so much they get a little hard to see, but they're attached with beads, and you can put as much beads or any other embellishments on that you want to do. After I've been at quilt shows, there have been many people that ask for something smaller. They say that they live in an apartment or they don't have much wall space, and so they want something small that will just hold a few pictures. So this is the mini family quilt. It will hold fewer pictures and takes up less space, but it's made in exactly the same way. It's great for a little gift for someone. It's great to hold pictures of your pets or just a few photographs of your grandchildren. This little quilt is called a flower hug quilt, and I make them for friends or people that I know that are having some tough times. Let's find out more about that. To our bedroom. I love to put quilts on not just the beds, but also on the walls. And in our bedroom, I decided to hang circling geese behind our bed. I think it's very bright and cheery. This is a pieced quilt. It's not hard to make. It's just made with lots of flying geese. Our bed is fairly good size, and so I don't have too many of my quilts that can fit on my bed. But the top one here is called Golden Anniversary. It's a very, very simple quilt because it's all rectangles and squares. And I used a lot of different golds and tans and creams. And I think it's very striking in the simplicity of it. The quilting also shows up very nicely. And I'm going to pull this one back, and let's just pull it right off. This is Simple Elegance. Simple Elegance is another pieced bed quilt. It's pieced with a lot of triangles. I made these half square triangles using a what is called an easy angle ruler, but you just make a lot at a time. And again, I like a lot of different scrappy colors. As long as they read light or dark, you can throw them in and the quilting can just really show. This is the one we most often use. This is Silver Mist. It's rather large. The pattern, this quilt design is in the pattern called Purple Mist. Purple Mist is smaller flowers, more like a grandmother flower, garden flower. But in that pattern, there's also a design using these are chrysanthemum pieces, and making a much larger quilt. I think this is 105 or something square. So, 3 different quilts, lots of piecing triangles, but very fun. Here are tag-along turtles. Tag-along turtles are some very fun turtles, all made with dotted fabrics. They were very fun to make. They're fusible applique with a little inset underneath, an oval inset, and they're buttonhole stitched or blanket stitched around the edge. I liked the tag-along turtles so well that I made a tag-along turtle table runner right here. There's also a pattern. There's a pattern for the tag-along turtles, and then there's a different pattern for the tag-along turtles table runner. But they're made exactly the same way, just depending on how many turtles you would like to make. These quilts are the barn dance quilts. They are dancing barns. So this table runner makes barns which are line dancing barns. Then for those who are a little bit more racy, these barns are the pole dancing barns. Of course, you can make your barns in any way you like. In the pattern, there are several different suggestions of blocks to fill in the top of the barn. Those need to be foundation paper pieced. But the barns are fairly easy to make. This quilt is called My Happy Campground. My Happy Campground is a campground full of happy campers. And the campers are easily made with a little bit of fusible applique. There's some trees made with flying geese. It's not hard to make, and it's very fun. This quilt pattern is very easy to modify and only make 3 or 4 blocks together, or make 6 blocks and have a long or tall wall quilt. It's just very easy to work with to make it to whatever size you would be interested in. This bed is called Uptown Squares. Uptown Squares is a super simple quilt to make. It involves using squares of some bright color and then alternate blocks which are made with strip piecing. And I like to use blacks and whites and then different colors for the squares inside. I also have this quilt as a kit, but the kit just is a kit with the pattern and a striped fabric to go along with it. It's not this stripe exactly, but it's very close, and it's available as a kit. Uptown Squares. This little quilt is a wall quilt made especially for your bathroom or somewhere near that. This is called Outhouse Symphony Movement Number 2. And it's just a fun little quilt using machine fusible applique, and it's 5 outhouses dancing around. These are my Presto Links patterns. This is the Presto Link flower pattern. Presto links are fun because you make a quilt and then you cut it apart and then you put it back together with beads. After I did Presto Links flowers, I thought, oh, I'll do a birdhouse. So these are Presto Links birdhouse. This one is one that is done in wool. If you like to use wool, this pattern works well with wool. You can make the edges curvy or you can make them straight. After I did this one, I wanted to do one more. So this is Presto Links, Love One Another. Coming up is a sampling of a lot of my Presto Avenue Designs patterns. And at the end is a reference to my website. I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page. I have a Facebook friends group. I'd love to have you come and check out my website. It's prestoavenuedesigns.com. Thanks.